Welcome to MacGyver's Workshop, where you never know what we're going to be working on next. If you're not too careful, you just might learn something.
Hi there, and welcome to MacGyver's Workshop, where you never know what we're going to be working on next, and if you're not too careful, you just might learn something. Well, today we're doing part 4 of our Subaru Legacy GT project that has experienced some pretty massive scope creep, or what initially was going to be just a simple turbo replacement and maybe some minor other stuff has evolved into finding out some deeper and darker secrets that this engine had with an oil pump failure and all that kind of thing. So now we feel we're pretty much on the downside of all that, and I promise we're getting to the to the part where we can see the timing belt and all the gears and everything back on the front. While we have the engine apart is where we have to put our sending units for our gauges that I highly recommended that he get, and he ultimately did. And that's an oil pressure gauge, because the Subaru Legacy GT never came with one, just an idiot light, and an oil temperature gauge, and a boost gauge. Not that he really needs that, but you know, that fills out the third pod in his little A-pillar, you know, gauge pod thing. So let's go have a look over here on the small camera and show you what we did. You saw in the last video where I showed you how I made the special little adapter for the rear galley plug to make where we could put our sending unit in for our oil temperature sender. So it's all done and it's in and it's wired up. So let's have a look. Ain't she pretty? Look at that. All down in there, nice and sweet. And got her wire tied to it, nice, and everything's out of the way, no chafing, none of that stuff's gonna happen. And then I'll close up the PCV here in just a minute and get that all done, and we're one and done with that bit. Alright, let's get a look at the front of the engine. It's all done up and ready for the timing covers now. We'll go over here to the other camera, and you can see we've got all our belts, idlers, everything's done and tightened and double and triple checked, and we'll go ahead and start putting our covers on here. And we start with the center cover first. All right, center cover's in. All right, let's have a look over here. We've got the front of the motor put back together. Got all our covers on here. The only casualty so far has been the AC belt adjuster. This, believe it or not, the little thing right here is plastic. Of course, the bolt was seized in there, and the minute I put any torque to it, you know, she just split. So, but it wasn't the end of the world. I was still able to get the belt tight and lock the idler pulley down. We just lost the use of this adjuster bolt. He should be able to find that part either in a boneyard or buy a replacement one. Now it's time to drop the radiator in. We'll drop that feller in there. Fairly modular little setup here, so it's not too bad. It's time to put the bottom hoses on here, but I don't feel like I'm down in the hole right here, so we're gonna pick her up and double check everything before we bolt anything down on the top. Okay, so we had a another interesting development on the Subaru today, and as I was getting ready to prime it up and get everything ready to start it, checking the fluids, checking for leaks, all that kind of thing, I found that I was getting some seepage around the head gaskets, and it was both coolant and oil. Also, the cylinders on the driver's side, while not detrimentally so, but they were a little lower on compression than the passenger side, and I just wasn't comfortable with that. So I went ahead and kind of put the brakes on the project here and spoke with the owner. I pushed it out for now because I have some other work scheduled that has to get done, which, by the way, will be an interesting video. That'll be the next one that I post beyond this, and then we'll circle back to it, and we're going to pull the motor out, tear it down all the way, and we frankly should have done that from the get-go, but we were he was hoping he could get lucky, and sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So that's it for that. It's going to be on hold for a little bit, maybe a week or so. I'm not sure. We'll get back to it, and we'll see you then. And I appreciate everybody watching, and have a great Labor Day weekend. Please feel free to comment, and you can also catch me offline if you prefer it that way at MacGyversWorkshop@gmail.com. Please subscribe. Love to have you. Don't forget to check out our website, www.MacGyversWorkshop.net. See you next time.